Samuel Atman's life was a cycle of struggle and disappointment. Born into a poor family in Ibadan, he had grown up watching his parents scrape together just enough to put food on the table. Determined to escape poverty, Samuel worked hard, earning a degree in business administration. But even with his education, his dreams of a better life remained out of reach. As a clerk in a government office, he barely earns enough to cover rent and feed his family. Every day was a reminder of his failures. His wife Titi was growing distant, tired of enduring a life of lack. His son David often asked why they couldn't have boys' clothes, toys, like his classmates. His daughter, Maya, only 6 years old, cried herself to sleep when there wasn't enough food. One evening, Samuel sat alone in their dimly lit apartment. The power had been cut off again due to unpaid bills. He stared at the eviction notice on the table, feeling utterly defeated. God, if you are out there, he whispered, please show me a way out. That night, Samuel had a vivid dream. He stood in a dark forest, surrounded by towering trees. A figure cloaked in shadows approached him and whispered, if you want to change your life, come to the banyan tree, midnight. The next morning, Samuel found a black envelope tucked under his door. The handwriting was elegant, the message brief. Are you ready to escape your suffering? Meet us tonight at the old banyan tree. Samuel's heart raced. Was this some cruel prank, or was it the answer to his prayers? As night fell, he told Titi he had an important meeting and slipped out of the house. The streets were eerie and quiet as he made his way to the banyan tree, an ancient landmark on the outskirts of the city. There, in the faint glow of the moon, a group of hooded figures waited. The leader, his face obscured, stepped forward and addressed Samuel. You've been chosen, Samuel Atman. We know your struggles. We know your desires. Join us, and we will grant you the wealth and power you seek. But remember, every blessing comes at a cost. Samuel hesitated, but the weight of his family's suffering pushed him to nod. What do I need to do? The initiation ceremony was a surreal experience. In the heart of the forest, lit only by flickering candles, Samuel stood before a golden serpent emblem etched into the ground. The leader handed him a dagger. To gain, you must give. Offer a piece of yourself to the seal deal. With trembling hands, Samuel made a small cut on his palm. His blood dripped onto the emblem, and the group began chanting. As the ritual concluded, Samuel felt a surge of energy. The leader placed a black velvet bag in his hands. This is just the beginning. Use it wisely. Inside the bag was $50,000 in Crips bills. Samuel was stunned. His mind raced with possibilities. He could pay off their debts, move his family to a better neighborhood, and finally give his children a good life. Samuel wasted no time transforming his life. He paid off the landlord, settled old debts, and moved his family into a spacious home in Victoria Island. His children enrolled in private schools, and Titi marveled at their sudden change in fortune. "Samuel, where did you get all this money? Where did they come from?" she asked one evening as she admired their new home. "I made some good investments," he replied, avoiding her gaze. Samuel's newfound wealth brought him respect and admiration. His business flourished, seemingly blessed by luck. Contracts poured in, and his bank account swelled. But the Brotherhood's demand soon followed. At first, the sacrifices were minor. Samuel was required to attend midnight rituals and make anonymous donations to the society. But as his wealth grew, so did the stakes. One night, the leader summoned him. "Your success must be balanced with loyalty. The serpent demands more." Samuel was instructed to offer an animal sacrifice. Though uneasy, he complied, reasoning that it was a small price to pay for his prosperity. But the sacrifices didn't stop there. A year later, the Brotherhood demanded a human sacrifice. The leader's voice was cold and unwavering. "To sustain your wealth, you must offer someone you care about." Samuel was horrified. "I can't do that. Please, isn't there another way?" "There is no other way. Choose, or the serpent will choose for you." After days of torment, Samuel chose his distant cousin. The Brotherhood orchestrated the cousin's death to look like an accident, and Samuel's wealth continued to grow. But guilt consumed him. He avoided his family, unable to face their innocence while knowing the darkness he harbored. Years passed, and Samuel's wealth reached unimaginable heights. But the serpent's mark, a faint golden glow on his palm, began to burn. His dreams were plagued by haunting visions of his cousin and other victims of the Brotherhood. Then, misfortunes began to strike. His business empire faced a crippling scandal, and his son David was expelled from school after being falsely accused of theft. His daughter Maya fell ill with a mysterious sickness. Titi confronted him. "What's happening to us, Samuel? Tell me the truth." But Samuel couldn't. He knew the cause was tightening its grip. Despite everything, desperate to save his family, Samuel returned to the Brotherhood. "Please, I'll do anything to make this right." The leader smirked. "The only way to break the curse is to surrender everything, including your life." Samuel realized there was no escape. He had traded his soul for riches and now had to pay the ultimate price. On a stormy night, Samuel stood once again beneath the banyan tree. Alone, he performed the final ritual. With Samuel's death, the curse lifted. Titi and the children were freed from their suffering, though they were left to rebuild their lives without him. In Witchpass, the Brotherhood continued its work, seeking new souls to ensnare, and the banyan tree remained a silent witness to the unending cycle of greed and tragedy. Samuel's story became a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder that the pursuit of wealth at any cost often leads to ruin.